Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am discussing about the prototype design pattern in C#. Prototype design pattern is a design pattern which fall under the creational design pattern. In prototype design pattern, we just only clone or duplicate an existing object. In when we create a new object, it takes some time to creation a new object. So for example, if we have created a new object that where on the creation of new object it load the data from database, which takes some time to load the database data from database. So for example, if it take 10 seconds to load the data from database, and the object when we create a new object, it take 10 seconds to creation of a new object. So second time, whenever we creation of a new object, whenever we wait for 10 seconds to create a new object, so it very time consuming. So in this scenario, we will use a prototype design pattern, where prototype design pattern which clone or duplicate an existing object without creating a new object. For example, if we have an employee class, we have an employee class, employee id, employee name, and a function save which save the data in the database. And we have a department class, department id, department name. And when we create a department uh, object, it takes 5 seconds to load the data from the database. So I use thread.sleep to wait for a block for 5 seconds, then it load the department data. So this is a logic. When we create a employee object, it will take 5 seconds to load the department data from the database, then employee object created, and we set the values of employee and then save. So in another, when we want to add new employee, and second time this will take 5 seconds to create a new object, and then we set the value and then save. So let's start. We debug this. When we create a new object, this will take 5 seconds to load the data from the database for department. So employee id, employee name, and save. So our new employee has been saved. And if we want to create a new employee, then we create a new employee object, and then this will take 5 seconds to load the data from the database. So every time we create a new object, it will take 5 seconds to load the data from the database, and then employee object created. So this is very time consuming. So here is the concept of prototype design pattern. Prototype design pattern which where we just clone the existing object. For example, if we want to clone, it will implement a clonable interface. We will return memory wise clone. So this method will return the clone of existing object, and instead of creating a new object, we just clone emp dot clone existing object, and which is cost to employee. Now let's start. First time we create an object, it takes 5 seconds to load the department data from database. And employee id set, employee name set, we check department id 11001, department name tech, employee id 101 Ahmed. And if we want to save this, the data has been saved. And if we want to create a new employee, and new employee record and insert into a DB. Then we just clone the existing employee object or duplicate the existing employee object. This contain a null value, and this will clone the existing object. So it has a 101 department ID, department name, employee ID 101, employee name Ahmed. So in the cloning scenario, it does not block for 5 seconds. It just clone the data of the current object. It does not create a new object, or it does not wait for the 5 seconds to load the data from database. So this is the clone, and we set the necessary changes. We set the 102 new play Bilal, and then we will save this. So this is the prototype design pattern. I just repeat, this prototype design pattern is a design pattern which fall under the creational design pattern, and it just clone or duplicate an existing object, so that we does not need to be take a time, which does not face a time consuming issue while creating an object. Every time we create a thousand of hundred of thousand of object in our application, and these objects take some time to creation. So uh, uh, so resolving these issues, we just clone or duplicate an existing object, s- so that to for this and change in some necessary data in this, and then we will use this is a concept of prototype design pattern, and this is the example and usage of prototype design pattern. I hope you understand this design pattern. Please subscribe to my channel or like my video. Thanks.